The behavior which trainers look, if modified, could lead to the desired behavior, and reward such a behavior is innate, instinct, reflex, operant. Let's look at question 26. When trainers modify behavior to achieve a desired outcome and then reward it, what kind of behavior are they working with? The correct answer is D. Operant. Operant behavior is all about learning through consequences. Think of a dog learning a new trick for a treat. Innate behaviors, instincts, and reflexes, on the other hand, are more automatic and not primarily shaped by this kind of reward-based training. Which one of the following examples of behavior describes when an animal stops responding to stimulus or cue after a period of repeated exposures? Imprinting, reflex, habituation, conditioning. Moving on to question 27, if an animal stops responding to a stimulus after repeated exposure because it learns the stimulus is not important, what is this called? The answer is C, habituation. It's like city pigeons eventually ignoring the constant street noise because it has no real consequence for them. Imprinting, reflex, and conditioning describe different learning or response mechanisms. A policeman trained a dog on how to find explosive materials through sniffing. On another instance, the same policeman observed a week-old puppy following him on the roadside. Which one of the following is correct about the behaviors of the animals in the observation? The first case is genetically encoded, and the second is adaptive. Both of the cases indicate natural behavior of the animals. Both of the cases indicate learned behavior of the animals. The first case developed through trial, and the second genetically coded. Question 28 presents two scenarios: a dog trained to find explosive and a young puppy following a policeman. What describes these behaviors? The correct choice is D. The explosive sniffing dog learned its skills through trial and reinforcement. That is a learner behavior. The puppy following, however, is likely an example of imprinting, which is genetically coded and develops without such extensive trial-based training. Which one of the following behaviors is a courtship behavior? Touch, scent marking, ritual fighting, defending a day. Alright, question 29 asks about courtship behavior. Which of the options fits this description for attracting a mate? The answer is C, ritual fighting. In many species, males engage in these displays or symbolic fights to demonstrate their strengths and embrace potential mates. Touch can be social, scent marking is often for treachery, and defending a dean is a protective. The Ethiopian wolf can cement its leaves and hunt in packs. During patrolling their habitat, both male and female wolves of the group maintain their area with urine-containing pheromone. This pattern of behavior best exemplifies courtship behavior, territorial behavior, operant behavior, learner behavior. Question 13 describes Ethiopian wolves using urine with pheromones to mark their habitat. What kind of behavior is this? This is a classic example of territorial behavior. They are essentially signaling ownership and boundaries to other wolf packs. Is not primarily for attracting mates or courtship or a behavior learner through reinforcement like open behavior. The tertiary biome characterized by cold temperature, dry precipitation, frozen soil, and inhabited by migrating birds is boreal forests, deserts, tropical mountain forests, tundra. Let's tackle question 31. We are looking for a terrestrial biome characterized by cold temperatures, dry precipitation, frozen soil, and inhabited by migrating birds. Which one is it? The correct answer is D. Tundra. Think of vast chilly plains with permafrost. Boreal forests have trees. Deserts are dry but typically hot, and tropical mountain forests are warmer and don't feature frozen soil. This item is based on the table below. Select the correct representative for L, M, N, and O respectively. Fertile, many animals. Poor, few animals. Poor, sparse, fertile, many animals. Fertile, migratory animals. Poor, drought and fire adapting animals. Medium, ants and spiders. Poor, polar bears. Question 32 refers to a table comparing different ecosystems. We need to select the correct representative for L, M, N, and O. The answer is B. Poor, sparse, fertile, many animals. This suggests L, likely representing desert soil, is poor in nutrients, and M, desert animals are sparse. In contrast, N, such as tropical mountain forest soil, is fertile, and O, its animal life includes many animals, reflecting richer resources. Which one of the following explains biodiversity? The variability among living organisms within a species and of ecosystem, the large number of human races in the world, the similarity and difference of organisms which live in different ecosystems, larger number of organisms in the same ecosystem. What exactly is biodiversity? Question 33 asks us to define it. The most comprehensive answer is choice A, the variability among living organisms within species and of ecosystems. It's about the incredible variety of life at all levels, from genes to species to entire ecological communities, which is crucial for ecosystem health. This item is based on the table below, which shows uninvented ecosystems. In which area of the above table does all of the species are more or less equally successful? Area 2, Area 1 and 3, Area 1 and 2. Question 34 refers to a table with invented ecosystems and asks in which area all species are more or less equally successful. The correct choice is area 2. This indicates that in area 2 of the table, the population numbers for different species are relatively evenly distributed, suggesting a balanced coexistence. unlike other areas where some species might dominate. A major factor in controlling the population size that helps to minimize predators and recover prey number is desert-causing organism, predation, interspecific competition, intraspecific competition. For question 35, one major factor in controlling population size helps to minimize predators and allow prey numbers to recover. The answer is B. Predation. The dynamic interaction between predator and the prey population is crucial for ecological balance, helping to regulate the numbers of both and maintaining ecosystem stability. What is the major difference that viruses have with free living cells? Viruses reproduce only sexually, lack genetic material of their own, do not function outside of a living cell, lack locomotory structure. Question 36 asks for the major difference between viruses and free living cells. The key distinction is C. Viruses do not function outside of a living cell. They are obligate intracellular parasites, meaning they absolutely need a host cell's machinery to replicate and carry out their life cycle. They cannot survive or reproduce independently. Why is nutrient recycling important in an environment? Because the amount of nutrients in the environment is limited. It adds new types of molecules into the environment. Nutrients in an environment will be depleted if recycled. Nutrients should be exchanged between the Earth and the other planets. Why is nutrient recycling so important in an environment? Question 37 points to the answer because the amount of nutrients in the environment is limited. Earth has a finite supply of essential elements, so these nutrients must be continuously recycled through natural processes like decomposition to support ongoing life. Which one of the following orders of life process correctly illustrates occurrence of the nutrient cycle? Feeding to death and decomposition, then excretion to respiration and breathing. Feeding to excretion to respiration and breathing, then to death and decomposition. Death and decomposition to feeding to excretion to respiration and breathing. Respiration and breathing to feeding to excretion to death and decomposition. Question 38 asks for the order of life process illustrating the nutrient cycle. The correct answer is feeding to death and decomposition, then to excretion to respiration and breathing. This sequence shows organism obtaining nutrients by feeding, then nutrients returning to the environment via death and decomposition, and further cycling through excretion and the gas exchanged in respiration. Which of the following process in the phosphate cycle does not return phosphate ions to the soil? Weathering of rocks, uses of fertilizers, decomposition of dead animals, cellular respiration. In question 39, we are looking at the phosphate cycle. Which process does not return phosphate ions to the soil? The answer is D, cellular respiration. While vital for energy production, cellular respiration primarily involves carbon compounds and energy release, not the direct return of phosphate to the soil. Weathering rocks, fertilizers, and decomposition all contribute phosphates. Previously, bare land was gradually occupied by lichens and mosses, annual herbs, perennial herbs, shrubs, and finally by forests. Which one of the following best describes the process indicated above? Afforestation, succession, climax community, natural selection. Question 40 describes a barren gradually being occupied by different plant communities, from lichens to forests. What is the process called? This is succession, specifically ecological succession. It's natural, often predictable, step-by-step change in an ecological community over time until a stable climax community is formed. This item is based on the table below. The population number of X, Y, and Z respectively will decrease, increase, remain the same. Increase, decrease, remain the same. Decrease remains the same, increase. Remain the same, increase, decrease. Question 41 likely refers to a table showing population data for X, Y, and Z based on natality and mortality. What will happen to their numbers? The correct answer is B, X will increase, Y will decrease. Y will decrease and Z will remain the same. This is because X's birth rate exceeds its death rate and Y's death rate is higher than its birth rate, and for Z, birth and death rates are balanced. This item is based on the table below, which shows population growth trend. Which one of the following is correct about X and Y? X is exponential growth because the numbers increase by the same fixed amount in each time period, and Y is arithmetic growth because the population doubles in each period. X and Y cannot be compared because of them grow differently with incomparable proportion. X is arithmetic growth because the numbers increase by the same fixed amount in each time period, and Y is exponential growth because the population doubles in each time period. Both X and Y are exponential growth since each of them increase regularly without interruption. This item is based on the table below, which shows population growth trend. Which one of the following is correct about X and Y? X is exponential growth because the numbers increase by the same fixed amount in each time period, and Y is arithmetic growth because the population doubles in each period. X and Y cannot be compared because of them grow differently with incomparable proportion. X is arithmetic growth because the numbers increase by the same fixed amount in each time period, and Y is exponential growth because the population doubles in each time period. Both X and Y are exponential growth since each of them increase regularly without interruption. Drosophila melanogaster are convenient experimental animals in genetics because they have 23 pairs of chromosomes per cell, are small animals with a short life cycle, are too cheap to breed in large numbers, have chromosomes that cannot be easily detected. Why are Drosophila melanogaster or fruit flies so convenient for genetic experiments. Question 43 gives us the answer option B. There are small animals with a short life cycle. This allows scientists to study multiple generations quickly and cost effectively, making them ideal for observing inheritance patterns. Their well understood genetics also help us. Suppose a heterozygous brown-eye father is married with a blue-eye mother. What would be the proportion of homozygous children for eye color? Hint: brown is dominant over blue. 50%, 100%, 75%, 25%. Question 44 is a genetics problem. A heterozygous brown-eyed father or genotype capital B, small letter B, uh, marries a blue-eyed mother or genotype of small letter BB. What proportion of their children will be homozygous for eye color? The correct answer stated is D, 25%. This percentage refers to the children predicted to have the homozygous recessive genotype, small letter BB, which results in blue eyes based on the provided analysis. The following question is based on the figure that shows the gains in productivity from the hybrid vigor. In the above diagram, what best describes the breeding condition represented by letter X and Z, respectively. X involves crossbreeding and Z involves inbreeding. X involves inbreeding and Z involves crossbreeding. X represents natural selection and Z represents artificial selection. Both X and Z represent inbreeding. Looking at question 45, which refers to a diagram on hybrid vigor, what breeding conditions are represented by letters X and Z? The answer is option A. X involves crossbreeding and Z involves inbreeding. X showing a peak in productivity illustrates hybrid vigor from crossbreeding, while Z often showing a decline represents the effects of continued inbreeding. If organisms share very similar molecules such as DNA, then they must be closely related evolutionarily. Which evidence of evolution supports the above information? Comparative embryology, comparative anatomy, comparative physiology, comparative biochemistry. Question 46 states that if organisms share very similar molecules like DNA, they must be closely related evolutionarily. Which evidence of evolution supports this? This is D, comparative biochemistry. By analyzing and comparing the DNA, RNA, and proteins of different species, scientists can uncover evidence of common ancestry and map evolutionary relationships. Which one of the following cannot be used as an evidence of evolution through paleontology? Stomach, teeth, hair, bones. Which of the following cannot typically be used as a paleontological evidence for evolution? That's question 47. The answer is A, the stomach. Paleontology studies fossils which are primarily preserved hard parts like bones and teeth, or occasionally hair in specific conditions. Soft tissues like a stomach decompose too rarely to fossilize. The process in which individuals with a particular heritable trait survive better than the other is adaptation, evolution, selective breeding, natural selection. Question 48 describes a process in which individuals with a particular heritable trait survive better than others. What is this called? This is the core concept of natural selection. It's the key mechanism driving evolution where advantageous traits become more common in a population over generations because they enhance survival and reproduction. Which type of selection favors individuals at both extremes of a range to have advantage over this displaying the mean value? Stabilizing selection, directional selection, natural selection, disruptive selection. Which type of selection favors individuals at both extremes of a phenotypic range, potentially leading to two distinct forms? Question 49 points to disruptive selection. This occurs when intermediate values for a trait are selected against and individuals at both ends of the spectrum have a higher fitness. Which one of the following is true about human evolution? Humans and chimpanzees both evolved from a common ancestor. Humans evolved from chimpanzees. Humans evolved from different line of evolution than great apes. Humans evolved from great apes. Finally, question 50 asks what's true about human evolution. The correct statement is humans and chimpanzees both evolved from a common ancestor. It's a key point that humans didn't evolve from modern chimpanzees. Rather, both species diverged from a shared ancestral species millions of years ago and followed their own distinct evolutionary paths.